Kia ora koutou. So look, as we prepare to farewell our advisory board chair, Karen Silk, next month to take up her new role with the Reserve Bank, it's my great pleasure to have her join me today to reflect on the significant impact that she's made during her time with SBC. Through Karen's leadership and expertise and absolute commitment to sustainability and climate action, it's been a source of inspiration for both the SBC team as well as the wider membership, not to mention me. She's been an incredible support to me since taking on my role 2 years ago, and she's going to be sorely missed. So today really is our chance to hear from Karen as we go through and just talk about what she's, I suppose, her observations over the last couple of years, a few years. So Karen, you've been involved now with SBC, I think, for 5 years, and 3 of those you've been the chair. So when you look back, what do you see as some of the key achievements for SBC and what SBC's done during that time?
Yeah, kia ora, Mike. Thanks for having me here. Look, so much has happened over the time that I've been with SBC. If I reflect on it, though, I think there's kind of 3 call-outs for me. The first one really has to be SBC's role in the activation of our members' activity on climate change. You know, be that in the stand up and support of the Climate Leaders Coalition or bringing together smaller groups like the Freight Group to work together on challenges that have been unique to their industry. Second one, I really have to call out the commitment of the SBC team. The commitment that they've shown to supporting members through COVID has been an absolutely immense effort on their part to really build opportunities for connection and continue to make a difference for our members through such a period of disruption. So, you know, I fully acknowledge just the quality of the work that they've done. And then probably lastly for me is just the increasingly proactive approach to engagement with government on policy issues, and more importantly, the recognition of value and that engagement with incorporation of many of our member views in policy generation. And that's important because whilst we might always wish for more action on behalf of government, with the incorporation of our views in the policies that we are starting to see come out, we know that our members' voices are being heard. So really hats off to the team for the work that's been done there.
Thanks, Karen. I know that'll mean a lot to the team, actually. So look, the membership's grown over the period. We've grown by 10% as we've attracted more members on different parts of the sustainability journey. So what do you see as some of the greatest impacts of that growth?
Other than a very, very, very busy SBC team, look, for a membership organisation like SBC, it's the opportunity that that kind of expansion offers to accelerate the pace of change. And when I'm talking about that, what I'm thinking about the fact that the broader and larger the member composition, the stronger the voice we will have in market and with key stakeholders. And then also, likewise, the broader and larger the member composition, the greater the opportunity for collaboration and learning among a growing member group. You know, and it's a member group, we've got to remember, it's a member group that are all aspirational in their aims for themselves, the industries and the whole economy. So when you bring them together, just the magnitude of change you can create and engender is enormous. So SBC needs to continue to grow.
I totally agree. Well, it's all about quality growth, isn't it?
It is.
So what are some of the key reflections that you'd make on how businesses view the views of sustainability have evolved over that time that you've been with SBC?
Yeah, so look, there's no doubt that the conversation in business has changed in relation to sustainability over the past 5 to 6 years. Look, there's a real clear recognition now among a lot of businesses of the importance of understanding business impact and risk in a much more holistic sense. Recognition that thriving communities and a healthy environment are really essential ingredients for sustained positive outcomes for business as well. Sustainability, look, it's moving beyond sponsoring activity that is largely external to a business to understanding and changing the way we do business. Largely right now to mitigate and avoid harm, but the really progressive business leaders here in New Zealand are now extending that focus to how do I repair or improve environmental or social conditions. So, farming, one of our areas that is business areas that is, always under constant pressure. The rising voice of regenerative farming is starting to come through. Living wage accreditation for employees, progressive procurement practices that direct work towards minority or previously excluded groups. They're all examples of a much more progressive way of thinking that people are starting to consider when they think about sustainability. It's no longer something that's hidden in the corner.
Absolutely. I've heard the term that it's gone from being a bolt-on to being built in. And it's
correct.
It's the case,
Yeah. Everybody's looking at how you can embed sustainability in your business practice. So it's part of your decision-making framework.
Yeah. So look, over recent times, we've also shifted in some of our business advocacy oriented actions, which you talked about earlier. What are some of your reflections on the success of that shift in focus, and why do you think it's been important?
Yeah, look, issues that arise within the sustainability sphere, be that social, environmental, or matters of governance, they all tend to be complex in nature and quite often require system change. And what we all know with system change is that no one participant in any system, be that government, community or business, can do that alone. And so it's important that the voices of all are heard and each take the opportunity to lead, and that includes business. And if I think about SBC as a member-led organisation, it's important that the SBC voice reflect the views of its members. And so much of the work that has been done by the team over the past few years has been focused on how do we better advocate and lead on matters that our members have said are most important to them. And now we're clearly seeing that, and it's coming through in the engagement with the Climate Change Commission, with government on the emissions reduction plan. And what we'll see more of moving forward is how this will all also strongly evidence in the other two key pillars of the SBC strategy, which is the thriving communities and building ethical leadership and governance practice in business in New Zealand.
So true. So SBC and CLC have also been working to achieve greater alignment in their strategies and work. And of course, they've got a shared vision now. What have been some of your observations of the two working more closely together?
Yeah, well, look, as I said before, the broader and larger the group of like-minded businesses collaborating together to lead on and find solutions to the mitigation of climate risk, the better the outcome will be for New Zealand and for our future generations. And from day one, SBC and CLC have been intertwined and fully aligned in their shared commitment and actions. Climate risk is the most prevalent issue for members of both, and having that collective group aligned on key outcomes and advocating for the same set of actions is adding weight to the voice of business, on such a key topic. So we need to keep that happening, and we need to keep that really tight collaborative work together between SBC and CLC, because our members are asking for that.
They really are. And I think we've put a lot of effort into that, haven't we, over the last 18 months to make sure that there's that alignment. And I think it's beginning to show through, actually.
Yeah, it is. And it's the weight of the collective group, recognising that both SBC and CLC, there are definitely shared members across those two groups, but there's also within the broader set there a number which are either SBC or CLC. It's the weight of the combined group that is making the difference.
Totally agree. So as you get ready to move on to your exciting new role, what are some of the things that you're most proud of from your time with SBC, particularly during your time as chair?
Look, I would come back to the three things I probably called out at the beginning. SBC's role in the activation of our members' activity, particularly on climate change. The commitment, the absolute commitment that the SBC team have shown to supporting members through COVID, and the ability to continue to make a difference for those members through that really disrupted period. And that goes for, the engagement and discussions of with those that are, been under more pressure, and industries under more pressure, all the way through to those that have actually, in some ways, from a business sense, almost benefited from it. So I take my hat off to the team around the way they quickly pivoted and became more agile in the way that they could engage. And then just lastly, that proactive approach to engagement with government, trying not to see them as the enemy, but working out ways in which we could collaborate together to try and bring both the voice of business to those issues, as well as the voice of policy.
So right now, businesses are facing some of the most challenging times they've experienced in recent history, of course. And do you have any parting advice that you'd offer to our members right now, given that background?
Yeah, probably the piece of advice we keep offering ourselves as a leadership team at Westpac at the moment: you've got to create the time to step back and breathe. It's so easy right now to spend every minute of the day buried in the grind of just coping. But like all things, the challenges we're facing today, they will pass. And so creating time to step back and see beyond the current challenge, or simply just replenish your capacity as an individual or as a team to keep going, is incredibly important. Running a business, it's a marathon, it's not a sprint. You need to be ready to recognise and take advantage of opportunity, as well as preempt and manage the next set of challenges. So give yourself the time to do that.
Very, very good advice. So, of course, these challenges that we're talking about all come at a time when sustainability and climate action have never been more important. Do you have any words of wisdom or advice for those of us who are trying to keep our focus on those, even though there are so many other issues to focus on?
Yeah, look, what I would say, don't hold back in challenging, and don't limit your own ambition or the ambition of our members, the ambition that they hold to have impact. SBC members carry a real desire to lead and affect positive change, and the greatest role we can have as either a team supporting that, or as an advisory board, is to support the ambition, support the broader SBC team, and also our members in turning that ambition into a reality. So don't hold back.
I'm going to carry that forward with me. Thank you, Karen. Look, it's been such a pleasure to work with you over the last 2 years, and honestly, it's just been a really amazing time for me. Wouldn't have been the same without you as chair for me. I'm going to miss you enormously, and but what a fantastic role you're going into, and I think really looking forward to seeing what you do there, and I'm sure that you'll still be in contact now that you're down here in Wellington. So really looking forward to that. And look, thank you so much for making the time today, because I know that it's really hard as you transition between roles to be able to do that. And look, your insights and thoughts today are as wise as they've ever been. But yeah, a huge thank you.
Hey, thanks, Mike. And as I said, a big thanks to the team, and thanks to all the members of SBC for the great work that you do every day, not just for your organisations, but for the betterment of all of New Zealand.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, look, that's the end of the interview. Looking forward to continuing to connect with all you members via these vlog sessions. We're going to start a renewed cadence over the course of the year now, tapping into the more thought leadership. And until then, take care.